I'm Alex Seiner. I'm the beauty director of Glamour magazine. And wow, there's so many of you here. I didn't expect that many, but thank you so much for coming. Welcome to the Glamour Beauty Festival. And I feel really honored to be starting this with a very, very special session with two very special ladies. Do I even need to introduce them? Sam and Nick from Pixiwoo.
Hi guys.
Thanks so much for coming again.
So when we were chatting about what we're gonna do, we're like, okay, so what should we do? Should we do because last year you guys did an amazing makeovers on some gorgeous girls, and we're thinking, okay, let's get some models in, and then you guys were like, no.
Uh-oh.
We wanna pick girls from the audience.
Yeah,
or
definitely.
guys, whoever wants to have something done. So we don't want to scare any of you who don't want anything done, but I mean, surely I want my makeup done by these two. So do you want to put your hands up who would like to have something done? And then we'll have Sam and Nick pick you guys. Yay!
God, there's so many people.
Okay, first, I'm going to pick Amber, because Amber comes to every single thing that we do. So I know her. Do you want to come on, Amber?
Then, Amber, you lucky girl. See, it paid off to come to everything, didn't it?
Come on up, my love. Sit yourself down.
Come on up. Oh, it's quite high.
Right, let's have a look
Sorry,
at you.
I'll help you.
Okay,
I'll help you.
I'm gonna have
Should
to
we
go
put it
over this
down a
side.
bit?
Can I get you to take your glasses off for me?
No, we're not too posh to push.
Oh, I know your makeup.
Let me
ruin
get on it and see if I
what
can
we're going
push
to
it
do.
down.
Any ideas?
It needs a bit of weight there.
Okay,
Now
cool.
try.
I mean, you know.
I could do this.
Whatever. It's meant to be interactive. It's meant to be fun. And by the way,
I'm going to
also,
move you this way a tiny bit because there's light that way, but I will turn often so that everyone can see what's going on while I turn your chair.
any of you guys have any questions in between, we absolutely love audience participation here. So
We love
I
it.
want to make sure you get something out of it. Everyone
at the
gets
moment.
something out of it. By the way, you two just flew in from America, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We just got back from Minneapolis yesterday morning.
Well, you'll be done for the
How do
day.
you look like this?
Really good at makeup. Really good at it.
Well, obviously.
So we've got a minimal kit because this is the stuff that we took with us to the US, and it's kind of hard to take stuff to fly with it. So I don't have tons and tons of eyeshadows, so I'm going to be using a lot of creams. Are you taking all makeup off, Nick?
She's got no makeup on.
Oh, amazing.
And I didn't plan
Oh my
it.
God, we love you.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably why I was drawn to her. I was like, oh, there's a blank canvas.
I think we want to get through as many of you as possible, so I'm going to work over the top of what Amber's got, and also I know she probably won't want me to take all her makeup off.
Have you? This is 7
Right, okay. But this is quite handy. Well, what I'm going to do first of all is spritz you, because this is a great way of just starting again. Spritz like this, which is Matte Fix Plus, you can just, if you've had your makeup on all day and you just want to start all over again in the afternoon, just spritz what you've got. This will rejuvenate it, and then you can rework it. So that's
You know,
what we're
in
gonna
the
do.
Glamour Beauty department, we spritz all day long. There's 4 of us in the department. We literally have like 7 face mists between us on the desk, and we just keep spritzing. Because also when you're in an office, you have that awful air conditioning all day, and I think it's a nice thing to just refresh your makeup.
Totally, it absolutely dries your skin out. Like being on a flight.
Yeah,
Spritz,
or multiple
spritz, spritz.
flights.
Yes. Is this what you've got on now? I
But
love
that's what
that.
you use as well.
I use this, yeah, but I also
the
use...
hourglass, guys, just in case you haven't seen.
I always use between these two, MAC Face and Body and the Hourglass Vanish. Vanish is amazing, particularly good when you mix it with a spritz.
How would you use the face and body? The face and body is very watery, and that's creamy. What would you do one before the other?
Well, it just depends on the coverage. Sometimes I put this, see this is actually quite heavy coverage, so I'll put this on and then I'll just put this where I need more,
Okay.
or where I want more. But the great thing with Face and Body on its own is that it's so buildable, so you can just wear it really sheer,
What foundation do you use at the moment?
or the more you work it, the thicker it gets.
I really like coverage.
So you end up, can you see the resistance it puts up? It gets to be quite a paste, so you can get more coverage just by working it. You release pigment. It's a very smart foundation.
And then let's see over here. Ah, you're using face and body as well.
I am, because Natasha doesn't wear anything normally, just a powder. So
love.
I want to take a little bit of face and body
Porcelain.
just to even the skin tone out. I've put a matting primer on first. She gets a little bit oily, just in the areas that she gets the oil. And then I'm going to take a foundation
I'm
which
still
is the
really
lucky
bad
choice.
with primers. I find it really difficult to find the right one. Which matting one do you like?
This is the Estee Lauder one.
Oh, those are the new ones.
Yeah, they're really lovely.
The smoother, I'm just saying it, I mean, I'd be writing this down, right? The smoother universal perfecting primer.
They do
Cool.
a radiant one, which is really nice. I actually think their primer game is really strong at the moment. They're doing well.
Well, if you think so, we're all going to go and buy
Move
it.
around this way
for
a tiny
sure.
bit for a second.
What I
so
love
the
about
light's
this
there.
Hourglass foundation is that I carry a bunch of different colours and then I mix the colours on the face. So I've put, the first colour I put porcelain just through the central panel here, and then I'm using a darker one just around the hairline and into the cheekbone.
I want to be standing down there. I want to be watching it. I'm like, I know, I'm just going to sit next to you because I'm like here going, what am I, hello, I want to learn. So do you tend to work with different shades?
Yeah.
Not, because see, this is the one thing, when you do it at home, I'm like, oh, just use one shade all over, but then my neck's not right, I don't know. So would you say 2 shades for most people?
Yeah, I always do. Even on
Okay.
myself, I do it. I think especially when you use a heavy coverage, because you end up with that colour on your skin. No one is that colour. Do you know what I mean?
I mean-
it's so opaque.
Oh,
so,
okay.
so what I do is I mix.
I'm
the,
J-Lo, you know that,
Oh,
right?
you are that
Yeah.
colour. You're so lucky. But
So bright.
yeah, so I mix those colours so that you get to mimic more what the actual skin looks like underneath.
Okay.
Otherwise, it can be a bit masky.
Gee, okay, I'm going to have to learn to do two different ones.
I think this is the thing, you know, when I started doing darker skins, when I first learnt makeup and I started working on darker skin, you can't get away with using one colour
Yeah.
on darker skin. And then I kind of just translated that into light skin because it's really the same thing.
But that's true, though. It's really hard because so many brands struggle with doing darker
makes it thick
foundations,
paste.
but that's because there's so many different undertones. It's hard to have
Absolutely.
just one that matches perfectly.
So true.
Yeah.
If anyone's wondering why I'm just standing here rubbing my hands for so long, I'm using the face and body, and the more you work it, it goes into a thick paste. So it
I
makes
just
it
said
much-
that. Oh,
It's okay, but like this side didn't quite
I
hear
didn't
it.
even hear you say it. I was totally zoned out. Sorry.
It's called jet lag.
It's called I'd never listened to her. Ever.
See, and also you're
okay.
applying with your finger.
I'm just applying it over the cheeks with my finger because I've got so much on my hands. And I just wanted, it's such a nice colour on Natasha, I just wanted it a little bit heavier just on the cheek area, but not anywhere else. So it's just giving us a
Sorry
little
about
bit more.
in front of you, but
I will turn her so that you can see. So it's just giving us a little bit more coverage just in those areas where we need a tiny bit more, rather than a concealer and mixing the colours too much.
So when you do makeup, like how much do you spend more time on base than on anything else?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know about Sam. I personally do, because I think the base is, I want it to stay put, and I always like a flawless base. Now, Natasha doesn't wear that much anyway, so base is most important.
Yeah.
And I want it to stay, knowing that she's got an oily skin as well.
Because that's the other thing, because often when, you know, in my job, we do a lot of backstage coverage, and everyone's always about the glowy, dewy skin, and I'm like, yeah, that's all very well for a fashion show that lasts 10 minutes. But in
Exactly,
real
in
life,
real
real
life.
women, we want makeup that stays put all day.
Totally.
also on a model, someone who's 18 and who looks perfect anyway.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those looks are gorgeous, but they don't translate to real life, which is why social media has been so successful for real women.
Okay, so you've already moved on.
Yeah, I do this thing where I do a rough base, what I call a rough base. So I whack it on super fast, then I do eyes, and then I come back and fix the base because I want to give it time to settle. And also, I lean a lot.
But also that's clever, because I always have eyeshadow dropping on my
Absolutely.
face, and then I'm like wiping it, and then it just looks like a mess, and then I'm adding other stuff that's not meant to, no, it just looks cakey.
Yeah,
That's a good tip.
exactly that.
Okay, so what do you use? Is that the Charlotte Tilbury?
This is,
Yes, Color Chameleon.
thank you.
That's
yeah.
good for people like me who are not very good at doing their eyes. Although
It's super
I had
fast.
Anna from NARS do my eyes today, so I'm very lucky. I didn't do that much. Guys, you got to go and see the NARS counter as well. Go and see Anna. She does the most amazing makeup. Just saying. No, but seriously, I arrived this morning. I was like, please help. But I find eyes so hard. I really do. Do you guys not find getting the eyeliner right is like literally, what's the trick?
Make it smudgy if you're not very good at it. I mean, You know, like, as you get older, your eyes kind of change and drop. I think the biggest trick is to do it with your eyes open, looking into a mirror, so you can see exactly where you're putting it. If you're doing it on someone else, obviously it's a bit easier because you're able to get them to look down. You know, you have complete control.
Aren't those your most popular videos, is when you talk about eye shape and how to correct eye shape?
Yeah, I think anything that's useful, practical advice.
Did you get oily lids as well?
For women that have things that, you know, they can't quite figure out. Because actually, in magazines and whatnot, what you see is a load of tips and a load of advice, but it doesn't translate to everyone's eye shape. You can't have one rule that works for everyone.
You do try to write about different eye shapes.
Right, I'm just
But the thing is, it's not in the writing, it's in the showing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some things people have to be shown how to do. Right, just open for me, Amber.
Okay.
We're just using a little primer. Yeah, I know, it's so bright. That's why I keep moving this way. Please do tell me to move and do interact if you've got anything to say, because we're happy to answer any questions.
Yes. I mean, any questions, please? Yes. Do you want me to come down? Oh, I don't need to move. Perfect.
Thanks. It's just a question about base. So if you're doing somebody's foundation and, you know, it's going on beautifully, but then you can start to see, particularly in the T-zone, like nose and chin, that you've got a bit of redness coming through, and it's not sort of how much you're applying. It's obviously perhaps either something in their skin or something in the foundation. What's the solution to that? Is it using a primer or just a completely different foundation?
Is this working on you or working on
No, working on
someone else?
other people.
When I work, I carry at least 2 foundations.
Okay.
And they're always different coverages. I mean, obviously we do a lot less work now.
Yeah.
But I used to take one for oily skin, one for dry skin.
Okay.
So that I was covered, because they don't work in the same way.
Yeah.
Also, primers make a massive difference, and people are still really confused about primers. It isn't like one primer fits all. Primer could do anything. It could be moisturizing, it could be illuminating, it could be mattifying, it could be hydrating, it could do any of those things, all of those things. So it's picking the right product for your person. So the answer to your question is, it's all in finding out as much information from them before you start.
Right, okay.
So you need to find out, I mean, the questions I always ask, I never ask what skin type have you got, because people don't know. Quite often they're quite confused about what they have. So I just say, do you find you get shiny? Do you find that your eyeshadow creases? You know, tell me what problems you have.
Yeah.
And then I can solve it.
Okay,
So
brilliant.
I think problem solving is a really good place to start.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
I think you're absolutely right. It's really hard for yourself. It's the right question to ask, not what skin type have you, but what's your problem? Because we can be confused about what type of skin we have. Even the thing between dehydration and dry skin. I mean, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Even though it might manifest itself in a similar-ish way, there's a different way of dealing with it, isn't it? Oh, I love this. More questions, more questions. This is fun. Oh, yes.
Your eyebrows look good, Amber.
Contouring.
Contouring.
Yes. How can you do sort of a simple contour for every day going to work? I'm not talking about the Kim Kardashian sort of all
Who's
of
got
that.
time for that?
Exactly.
In the morning.
So I just wondered tips on where to start putting it, because there's so much out there in terms of advice, and I've just got no idea where to start.
The tips are to look at your face, no one else's. Don't look at Kim Kardashian, who has the oval-shaped face, so she can contour every part of her face. Look at your shaped face. If your face shape is quite square in the jaw, then and you don't want it to be square in the jaw, you're just going to contour this area here and maybe a tiny bit here, and it might be square here as well, so you'll contour here. If you have a long face, you're going to contour the cheek, under the chin, and the top of the head to make the face look smaller. So firstly, you need to work out your face shape. Don't worry about what else everyone else is doing. You need to do it for flattering for you. Then just have your contour product. Once you've worked that out, that's the main thing. You're going to have your contour products ready, and just don't try and overdo it. I tend to go for cream products because they slip and they move really, really nicely, and they don't take as long to do.
Which one do you like? For every day, like not for photographs. Like
every day I use the Hourglass, and it's not really a contour, it's a bit too warm for a contour, but I use this Hourglass kit, which if you watch our videos I use all the time, just because it's not really a contour.
It's pretty cool.
pretty colour, but it's got a bit more warmth in than a contour. A contour is normally quite a flat colour, so it's almost the colour that when you've got dark circles under your eyes, that's the colour that you would contour. So it's a lot darker. That creates shade and depth. We don't want it under our eyes, but we do want it in our jaw, in our cheekbones. But I use this one just because it's easy, it's cream, it slips, and then I'll run a bronzer just over the top of it, so it dries it, but it makes it not so glossy
Which
and
brush
stay put.
would you use with that? Sorry, to be really practical, but I want to know too.
I use it, whichever one I grab normally, but it will often just be something like that, which is a sculpting brush, and it's got an angle to it already, I just slot it into that area, and I tend to pop it on and then blend upwards, so that I have a little bit of a line between. But I actually really like contour, and I'm going through this stage where I'm like, oh, I don't like contour, but I don't like what contour has become.
Yeah.
I
agree.
love contour, and
because
I think
it's
such a great
flattering.
thing.
It's really flattering if you do. But you're right. It's become something beyond ridiculous. I mean, I am sometimes guilty of it myself because I've got a round face. I'm quite guilty of sometimes overdoing it a little bit, right, Anna? Like this morning, she was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, my hair will hide it." But you can get a bit like, ahead of yourself. You do it too much as well.
Yeah, and then it just, you don't have time to even show anyone it.
I
And
think
it looks
also
like you've got tons on.
you have to be careful about how these things make you feel as a person, because there's nothing wrong with your face shape in the first place that you need to remodel it and shape it into something else. Not ever. My 12-year-old daughter came in the other day with full contour on, and I was like, "Babes, what's going on here?" And she's like, "Yeah, I've got a fat face, Mum." I'm like, "Nah, that's not happening. You haven't got a fat face, darling. You've got a lovely, beautiful face."
Lucky you've got young girls' plump cheeks. That's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, what Nick said is absolutely right. But I do have a slight issue with contour just in how it makes people feel about themselves.
I like how you're shading the crease though here.
I'm having like a little re-emergence love affair with these NARS eyeshadows.
They're fabulous. Yeah.
They're lovely. So I've mixed a little bit of this matte one, and then I'm taking a little bit of this, which might be Galapagos. Yeah. Just through the socket. Because they say you should never put shimmery eyeshadow through the socket, but who listens to what they say?
And then
They
let me
say a
just
lot of
tell
rubbish.
people the matte one is Blondie, which I obviously recognized right away because it's a classic. No, I had to check. So I like that, a bit of shimmer in the crease. I would never have thought of doing that, but that looks pretty.
Well, the time that shimmer in the crease looks really amazing is if you have very deep set eyes. So people are always like, don't do that, don't do that. But it was a tried and tested thing. This lady came who needed some makeup done, and she had such deep eyes, and she was like, "Oh, you can never see anything on my eyelids ever." And I took some MAC Reflex Pearl, which is like a tiny glitter pigment, and just pushed it through the socket, and it just gave light to that area. It looked really brilliant. So
Do you think that sometimes, obviously you're a professional makeup artist,
Yeah.
but by experimenting you come up with some of your best kind of tricks and ideas, just by almost doing stuff that you're not meant to do?
Absolutely. I think, worked for MAC for a really long time, and you get to work with some of the most amazing makeup artists in the world. Not just the MAC team, but, top makeup artists. So you learn a lot. But even just working on counter, because it's problem solving all the time, on all different ages, on all different skin types, on all different skin tones. So you just have to try stuff. It's been, an amazing journey, and really YouTube has been, YouTube actually refines your skills because you see what you do. Do you know what I mean? Like if you really have a lot of attention to detail like I do, I'm super nerdy about it, I can see exactly what isn't working. I know now that how my face isn't even, but I know how to make it even in camera, where I wouldn't even have ever even noticed before because I didn't look
No
at my
one's
face
face
much.
is
No,
even, right?
no
That's
one's
the
is.
thing. Because actually sometimes when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God, I'm crooked. And then I would say, yeah, but everyone is crooked.
Everyone's crooked.
Apart from Kate Moss, she really is even. She is. They did that scientific thing where they... Anyway.
And Naomi Campbell. Look up for me, they say. I'm just doing a bit of brow.
Ooh, what's that eyeshadow? That's so pretty.
Oh, this
that
is,
kind of purpley color.
What is it? Estee Lauder. Again, God,
Oh my God, Lauder should
I'm not
be
an
thrilled.
Estee Lauder ambassador, I promise you. Cyberella. It was a limited edition one they did. This is Estee Edit, actually.
Okay. Well, the Estee Edit is here, so.
Oh, well, there
Oh, am
you
I not
go.
holding the mic enough? Sorry, I thought I was shouting anyway.
But she's
Sorry.
already got microbladed brows, so
Ooh.
I'm just thickening them a tiny bit.
What are you liking for brows? Because brows are such a. What kind of shape are you loving at the moment?
The shape that's flattering for your face.
I agree.
I don't want people to look like, let me put your brows on me. It's just not right. It's the face that the shape that's flattering for your face, definitely. So I quite like the full natural brow. I can't do it because I have I went to school in the 90s, so I plucked them all into that sperm brow that we had back then. So I have loads of gaps, and I just soap brow them up so that they stick up, and then I individually draw the hairs in so that they look slightly more natural. But it is personal preference, but I think it should go for what suits your face. The ones you were born with, if you haven't overplucked them like me.
Yeah. See, I don't do anything with mine, but I
Well, that's why they look lovely.
well,
That's why. Sorry, I'm just turning my back to you all for a second.
Okay, so what I've done, I have just put a little bit of brow gel through Amber's brows. She's got lovely brows anyway, so minimal product. And the one I used, which I now can't find, but this is a version of it, is L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper.
I love that.
I mean, they're good. Brow products have come on, drugstore brow products have come on so much. I also like the Maybelline Brow Drama. Now we're going to go in and tidy up the skin. So I've just taken a little concealer, and I work a lot from these palettes.
So these are the MAC Pro
Yeah.
palettes, but anyone can buy them, right?
Anyone can buy them. I actually used to use this on myself under my eyes, but not so much now. But I always have these in my kit. They're so handy. It means you're covered for everything. And the great thing about this one, which is MAC Studio Finish, is it's actually exactly the same formulation as the old MAC Full Coverage, if anyone remembers that. So you can use it as a foundation. You can mix it with a moisturizer. You can mix it with Fix Plus, and
Don't they do that foundation anymore?
I don't know if they do. I mean, it was Pro anyway, wasn't it? But, you know, if you're a makeup artist, this is such a good thing, such an essential thing to have in your kit.
And as a non-makeup artist,
Yeah.
do you find them easy? Do you think they're easy to use for?
I think they're
regular people?
terrifying.
Because I'm glad you said that, because I have one of those palettes, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with it.
I think, you know, quite often we look at these things and we're like, right, what does each one do? I need an answer, but there isn't an answer. Quite often it's just about mixing it.
Mixing them together.
So you might end up that you use one way more than the other.
Yeah. But the good thing with MAC is you can go in and someone can show you how to do it, right?
Totally.
And I think that's
Absolutely.
what I like.
I think, yeah, we look for a lot of answers. You know, when you buy a quad palette, you're like, how am I going to use all 4 of these colours? They
Yeah,
don't
because
have
you
to
end
be
up
used
using
together.
one, and then you spend all
Totally.
your money, and then but then actually if someone it's like all these red eyeshadows now, I'm like
Yeah.
so scared of them, but then someone showed me how to use it, and it was amazing.
Beautiful.
Oh wow, your skin is just glowing. Lucky girl. You're not
Yeah.
going to wash your face for like how many days now?
Great skin.
Like a week.
My makeup is never gonna look this good again.
Ah, well. Oh, wow. Skin is fantastic. You've really, I'm going to get that hourglass and
It's
that.
so good. I really love it. Okay.
Do you guys, do you have any more questions to add? Yes, back there. Back there. In the back, sorry.
Can I just ask Nick, what highlighter have you got on?
Oh, this is a question I get asked all the time, so you all need to buy it. It is, actually, I've got the one from the Hourglass in, this one here. And then I use Hush Cream Colour Base every day, just on the very tip. And it's just the best highlighter, I think. It's a cream, so it depends whether you've got a dry or oily skin, but it reflects, especially when we're up here and the light's shining, it reflects so nicely.
Is it the last thing you put on?
Yeah.
And
Right at the end.
Do you do it with fingers or?
I do use a brush, but I work it in with my fingers quite a lot. I use my hands a lot. I love to apply things with brushes, but then I quite often use my hands just to settle it into the skin, because the warmth and the oils from my hands help it to work and be part of the skin. So
I'm
I tend
actually
to-
just putting Hush Cream Colour Base on now if you want to see it going on.
And it doesn't move on, so this is not one of those highlighters, because it looks like it comes from your skin, so it
Yeah,
doesn't look like
that's
it
why
sits
it's so
on top.
nice.
Yeah.
And highlighter is such a big thing now. like this season, sorry, I've got to get this. This season, highlighter is everywhere. It's all about, rather than the contour, it's about that kind of just got a little bit of Vaseline on the top of the lip, on top of the cheekbone. Don't use Vaseline because it will make you hairy. Just look up for
But
me.
you want to use it in the way you've used it, where it literally does look fresh and not...
Yeah, not, you know, let's be honest, I've got a ton of makeup on. Because
still looks
I'm
fresh
doing
from up
and
close.
that's the whole thing, is
Yeah.
I've got so much on. It still took me about 45 minutes this morning because I love to spend time doing it. I sit there with it all out. But it's about working it so it's part of your skin, not something sitting on the skin. Don't want to be able to say, oh, I can see that you've used MAC.
Hush.
You know, I want people to think, oh, what is that product? I can't quite work it out because it looks like something I haven't really seen before. Just look up for me.
What would Hush work on? Sorry,
Natasha.
Would that work on Natasha? Or would
Well,
you
we
use a
can try
different
it, but I
shade?
would probably use something that's got a slight pink flex through
Yeah.
it, or a slight orangey flex through it, because she's got a lot more colour than
Yeah.
me.
So pink or orangey?
Yeah, something that's got more of a pinky undertone. But Hush has got one, but it has a little bit of a silver going through it as well at the same time. But I think we could get away with it if it was really buffed in.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm right in the
Wow,
way.
This has moved on. Sorry, I'm not trying to distract you by asking
all
questions, but I
right.
want to
No, we
know
like
all these kind of tips in
'Cause
between.
I wouldn't speak otherwise, I'd just be mute through the whole thing, because I get so into it that I'm like, let me just do this. So I'm just using a little brush just to take a little bit of the eyeshadow that I used on top under the eyes. And I normally do that afterwards. I wait until I've done the top of the eyes to see whether I think it can get away with more or not. Quite often I do take it underneath the eye, but I just wanted to be sure. You don't have to do it all at once just because.
Sorry, she's like, who is this creep? I'm just like, it's just I want to see what's going on. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm a makeup fan before anything else, so, you know, I'm in the right job for sure, because I love, there's nothing I love more, like when we do shoots at Glamour as well, I always sit in the room with the makeup artist for like the whole time. I just watch everything, and then I go write everything down, and then I go and I get all the products, and I try to do it myself. But I think that's the thing, because also you two, you've been doing makeup for so long, but you just don't lose the passion. You seem so passionate about it still.
I sometimes lose the passion, and then I do makeup.
And
then
then
I'm back with it. Sometimes you think, oh, just can't be bothered today. And then I start doing it, and I'm like, God, I love this. You just get lost in it. I couldn't do anything else.
And you prefer doing makeup on people than on
I
yourself,
prefer doing it on
right?
people much more, because I know my face, and I get bored of looking at it. Other people's faces I could never get bored of. I love to do other people's faces. It's what I went into makeup for, not to be this side of it, to be the person that was making other people feel better or good.
Yeah, I love makeup. I never, ever, ever get bored of it, ever. That's just, you know, every time I watch a film, I watch it for the makeup. It makes it very annoying to watch a film with me.
Is that what inspires you mostly? Movies or fashion, or just real people or new techniques in makeup? Where do you come up? Where do your ideas come from? I
don't know. It's quite. I mean, I look at a lot of old photographs and old movies, and I look at the way that the light makes things work, and I wonder if I can recreate that using makeup. I don't know. I kind of lose myself in it. It's my only hobby and the thing I do for a job. So,
what's your favorite era for makeup?
it's too hard for me to say because I love too many. But if I really had to push and pick one, I would probably say 30s.
30s?
I love 30s. I love Marlene Dietrich.
Yes.
You know, it's so glamorous, and we knew so little about them because I'm also obsessed with the people and the mystique surrounding those people. So, and sort of in a way, social media has killed how celebrities are now because we know too much about them. And it's so nice to pick up a book and find out stuff about Marilyn or Elizabeth Taylor that you didn't know before.
And also those actresses knew so much about lighting as well. They knew how to position them. They knew, like, they did their own makeup as well most of the time, didn't they?
Unbelievable. You know, when you find out things like Marlene Dietrich had teeth removed to get those cheekbones, or that Marilyn, the reason that she always had her picture taken looking down was because she thought she had a really long face. And even surgery back then, I mean...
Wasn't it Rita Hayworth who had her hairline
Yeah, she had a hairline
Yeah.
taken back. I mean, Marilyn had a chin implant. She had a nose job.
Close me.
I don't know if Elizabeth Taylor had anything. Maybe later on.
No, she's just, I think she always looked
She was just beautiful.
Stunning that way. What's your favorite makeup era?
I like 20s, but how it's now, if you know what I mean. I love the 20s colours, more about the colours and the redness and I don't love the 20s brow because they don't suit everyone. I do love the 60s.
Yeah.
And I love the 90s. Even though we plucked our brows away, I just love that bit of everything. You know, Linda Evangelista was just so gorgeous.
I know.
Well, she still is,
That
but-
makes me think of Spice, Max Spice
Yes.
lip liner and Twig lipstick. And,
Yes.
and powder, I remember powdering my face into oblivion because it was all
Black
about...
twig lipstick, I remember that one.
Do you know what I mean?
One.
Do they still do that?
I don't know, but it was
Yeah, I
one of the
think they
first
still do
ones I
both.
had.
Yeah, that's
It
the
was
first one I had, I
Twig
remember.
and Spirit and Cosmo were the big sellers.
Oh, look at you. I hope you've got something planned for later today. Nice.
You'll be glamorous on the train.
Ooh, I'm so glad you're going to do some lashes.
Going to do some lashes.
We need some lash lessons.
Natasha hasn't got very long lashes, have you? We've curled them, but we want more. We want more. We all want more. So we can do more.
Guys, if you have any more questions, yes. In the back. I like always in the back.
Just look down for me.
Just listening to all of you talk in passion for makeup and stuff,
Yeah.
a guide to when do you stop? How many layers for each place? Like eyes, when do you stop? There's strobing, there's highlighting, there's foundation, there's primer. How many layers do you stop at?
It's knowing when to stop. Now, what I do is I always leave one feature free, and this is how I think you get like a modern take on a look. So whether I might do a full face but put no foundation on, or I might leave the brows free, or the cheeks, or the lips. But one feature has to be free, and then it will never look overloaded. When you do all of it, it looks very overmade up.
I think so, because I understand where your question comes from, because obviously you can just keep on going forever, but yeah, it's also knowing, I guess it's knowing your face and knowing also your lifestyle, what works for you. I mean, some people, you know, like when some jobs, like you can't run around with like full face of everything, you know? So it's kind of what works for you. I think if I had, I mean, in my job, I could literally wear a rainbow eye and that nobody would, but I mean, that's what I do. But, you know, not that I wear a rainbow eye, but I'm just saying, I just overdo the bronzer at all times. But that is my look.
It looks great on you.
Yeah, not everyone agrees, but I don't care. It makes me happy. Ooh, you've got the rosy for I love the rosy range for autograph. Isn't
so
that good?
good, so good. So lovely.
Going in.
Amazing. Okay.
We're on to lashes. We're doing two pairs.
Lashes.
We're doing two pairs of lashes because
Okay.
Natasha's got really quite long eyes, so actually the ones that I've brought and that I want to use are slightly shorter. They fit normal Mia's eyes, my sort of size eyes, but yours are lovely and long and wide. So I'm just going to put two pairs on. I'm just going to use a second pair and just move it along so that she's got double thickness on the back part of the eye as well.
What color glue do you use?
I use the duo that dries clear. I don't really like the one that dries black because it...
I do.
Do
I
you?
love it. Yeah, I love
feel
it.
like
Sorry.
this is often what happens. I feel like I don't think this is sticky. Or I get very watery eyes and it doesn't stay put for me.
I've never
so
noticed
I think
it,
this one's
but-
a little bit better.
Okay, so either or.
You know, I think the thing about all of these different, you know, because let's say 7 years ago, nobody knew what contouring was apart from makeup artists. No one knew what strobing was. I didn't know what strobing was. I knew what highlighting was. It's a new word, yeah. You know, a lot of people didn't know all this stuff, and we have to remember that a lot of these words and a lot of these campaigns are built up to sell product. You shouldn't feel like you need to do it all, because you don't need to do it all, even if, you know, social media or whatever makes you feel like you should.
That lipstick is so
love
pretty.
this lipstick. I love these lipsticks. Look, I've got so many of them. These are the Clinique. That's nice, a bit of my hair attached. Clinique.
Oh, the matte ones?
Yeah, the pop matte, primer and matte base. They're so gorgeous.
Because I struggle with the matte lipsticks because they always dry me out, but these seem
these
to be...
are comfy.
The colour's really pretty, that one. I
It's
wanna know
gorgeous. That's blushing pop.
Blushing pop. Did you use lip liner?
I put a tiny bit on, yeah. That was Charlotte's Iconic Nude.
Which is the one you use as well.
Yeah, I like that colour. It's inoffensive. I'm not a massive lip liner fan, you see. Oh, you know what I do want to use? A bit of this. I love this product. Do you like these,
Oh,
Alex?
the Daniel Sandler
They're
watercolour,
so
yes.
nice.
So you use this on at the end? No.
Wherever. I mean, I've already
Does
powdered
it go
it
over
the top.
powder as
Yeah.
well as it goes over?
Yeah, I put really, really thin layers of everything on, so it never affects it. Watch me screw it up, everyone.
She's just looking at you like, uh-huh.
It's overconfident.
Okay, so this is cool. So you put it straight on the
One
brush.
drop, just one drop. And then I keep it quite localized and just work it into the area. I bet no one can see that.
Wow, no, you can see. Gorgeous.
I like products that look like skin because I'm going to probably put quite a few layers on, if you see what I mean. It's gorgeous.
You're a good model.
She's great.
She's just like staying still. Okay, lash.
We're still on, we're just on to
Second
the other
layer.
lash. Second layer. We've done both layers on here, and actually I've not really put any, if you just open for me, I don't want any liner, because I feel like this season it's not so much about the liner, it's more about just the one eyeshadow over the eye, and then actually it's not even about lashes, it's about wearing no lashes, but come off it.
But come on.
Who wants to wear no lashes?
So guys,
about
just so
wearing
you
no
know, we've got
mascara.
5 minutes left. So if you want to get your questions in,
You're good,
this is
Amber.
the
You're good to
time
go.
to get them in. Good to go?
Yeah, she is good to go. Do you want to see?
Do you have any tips about using cream
Well,
products
I'll
on
tweet
oily
you,
skin?
I'll tweet you what I used later. There you go, my darling.
We're like, oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Do you have any tips about using cream products on an oily skin?
Yeah. I would only keep them in the areas you don't want to look shiny. So, like with the creams, I'm only going to put them on the tops of the cheekbones, but don't use them through the T-zone. Tops of cheekbones, probably a bit of the cheek. I mean, I would never powder this area anyway. Does that help? Yeah. I mean, also, it does help if you're using the right foundation underneath. Do you know what I mean? So it would need to be like an oil control foundation.
What do you think what are the biggest concerns people have, like women have, that you feel that that always comes back, the thing they struggle with most?
Honestly, confidence
Confidence?
is the biggest one, because you can wear the worst makeup ever and look absolutely amazing if you feel great in it. And so this is my thing that we have to be quite careful about, because I have specific tastes in makeup. I don't like Instagram brows. I'm quite vocal about the fact that I don't, but if someone loves it and feels great in it, then it looks great on them. Do you know what I mean? So I'd say number one, confidence. I think people struggle finding the right foundation, particularly for darker skin.
Yeah. Like we're managing today to find a good foundation.
Yeah, your skin looks lovely, actually.
What did you use?
C7, I think it was. MAC Face and Body. Yeah, C7. It looks
See,
lovely
this
on
is
you.
the thing about MAC and Bobbi Brown to a degree. They should really embrace and make a much bigger deal about the fact that they have such an incredible colour range.
They always have. This is the thing. They always have, though, haven't they? And
Yeah.
they've just made it part of what. And also,
Definitely.
going, especially with Bobbi, going for the very light shades as well. Because I think sometimes when you're very pale, it's super difficult to find something that matches as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, well, there are. I mean, this is the thing. There are ranges out there. You just want them. Also, for me, it's more in high street as well. Like the cheaper brands. I mean, Maybelline have now expanded to 22 shades, which is good, but you know, it took a while.
Yeah, and yes and no. The other day I got sent a big box, you'll probably know what this is, with a load of little samples of
Yeah.
the shades. And I was like, yeah, it looks great. And then when I took them apart and I put all the shades for light skin over here, a couple of shades for tan in the middle, and the shades for darker skin tone. There's about 4 shades for darker skin. There's still a ton more for lighter skin. There's more shades in darker skin, actually, than there are in lighter skin, so it should be the other way round.
I think it's a way in the right direction, though. I think
It
coming
is.
from like 6 shades in the foundation to, I think, you know, for me, it also shows that they're trying to improve. Of course, it's not
Yeah.
perfect, and it's hard in a high street environment as well because there is limited space. So I'm not excusing because I don't work for any of these companies, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, coming from where they come from, though, I'm like, okay, it's going in the right way.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
maybe
it
they
is.
should match the concealers too. That's
Yeah.
the one thing where I'm like, you're like 3 shades of concealers, and you're like, well, that's not going to work, is it? But anyway, sorry, we're chatting, and you're doing.
It's all right, I'm just running a tiny bit of invisible powder just over the skin. I like the skin to look nice and natural, so I don't want too much on there. And I've run a little bit of highlighter just through the top of the cheekbone. I used a Tom Ford one in pink sand. So it's a cream one, but it's got a really nice pinky undertone to it.
Did you
I'm going
use
to try a bit of Hush now.
Did you use blot powder?
No, I used translucent powder, a Laura
Oh,
Mercier
okay.
one. Let's try a bit
Cool,
of this so
cool.
we can see.
It's like,
And I want to put a little bit dark more under your eyes.
guys, literally, I think we've got like 1 or 2 minutes left. So if you want to get questions in, it's now.
Hi Sam, I love the way you do the grungy eyes.
Thanks.
When I do it, I've got oily eyelids, so it ends up looking too smudged. I just wonder if you've got any tips for that.
Yeah, I mean, the products like, hello, a bit of fluff. Products like waterproof eye pencils are really good. You know, that you can smudge. You have a limited amount of playtime, so you've got to work it really, really fast, but then the kind of alcohol dissipates and it stays. Do you know what I mean? That sort of product is really good for a grungy eye. The reason I love a grungy eye is because it just, you don't have to keep fixing it all day. You know what I mean? Like, as my eyes get older, I haven't got the energy for that. Let's just start messy. But yeah, I think kohl's not ideal, cream's not ideal, not unless it's set. But some of those pencils are epic.
Thank you.
I've got a lot of redness around my cheeks, and I've tried like the green colour correctors, but it doesn't really work. Is there anything else I can use?
Yes. Okay, so is it rosacea or is it just redness? Okay. Well, that's fair enough. In that case, what I would do is, the thing with a lot of those colour correctors is they're not so necessary now because foundations have moved on so much. It's just, again, it's like, oh, bring back colour correctors because we can sell those to people. It is though,
No,
isn't
you're
it?
right.
I mean, it's
I agree
stupidity.
full-heartedly. Those green pastes, I'm like, what the hell?
And then you put your foundation over and it doesn't quite match because you've got this kind of greeny hue underneath. I would say work with a foundation that's full coverage in that area. Keep everything else nice and light and then just use full coverage where you need it and blend the edges out. But don't try and use colour correctors and whatnot because it's just a silly.
Which
you know.
full coverage foundations do you like? A few.
Well, I like obviously the Hourglass, but it isn't suitable really if you have an oily skin. I like the Armani Power Fabric.
The new one.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty heavy
Do you
coverage.
still like Pro Longwear by MAC?
Nick likes that. I'm
Yeah.
not a big fan of any of the MAC foundations apart from, sorry.
No,
Somebody.
Stacey wears Pro
apart from Face
Longwear.
Body.
Sorry?
One of the girls that works in our office wears it. That's why she's thinking it's too much for me.
Yeah, I quite like Pro Longwear.
I think it's good on the right skin. It's not good on my skin.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some options. See? Are you writing those down? Good. This is it.
With the dry skin question, with the red skin, do you get dry skin? You're same as me then. If you use anything that's too full of coverage, it's just going to sit and look really full. So I tend to put my foundation on anywhere I've got the redness. I use a little bit of moisture cover concealer. So something that's quite moisturising, and it just kind of stays in that area and it stops. My redness isn't terrible, but it does come through if it's not got another layer on. So I just use that as a layer and it keeps it well moisturised as well.
So guys, don't hate me, because I'm the one who's going to have to say we're going to have to stop. So I think maybe we just
put this gloss
finish
on.
off by
I've just got to put the
saying,
gloss on.
Put the gloss. I'm really sorry, but someone has to go, like, because there's some other exciting talks happening throughout the rest of the day. But let's have a look. Whoa, you look beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for coming, everyone. Thank you. You look lovely. Right, let's get this tidied up.